In POV it always looked the same same loud music, oil-stained ground. The smell sweat, gasoline, and cheap perfume in the air, _J-E-O and Jungkook. Center of it all like some kind of main character. Around here, he was actually the main character. He was standing by his bike, sleeves rolled up, tattoos out like he didn't care. That's what annoyed me sometimes. The fact that he didn't even try and still pulled everyone in. Girls were all around him. Skinny jeans, short skirts, gloss lips. Laughing too hard at jokes he wasn't even telling. I leaned against the tree, chewing a gum slowly. I've gotten used to it by now. The noise, girls, bikes. It used to bother me when we first met, but I don't even care. The race was about to start. Jungkook stepped away from the crowd then, walking towards his bike, leather jacket hanging off one shoulder cocky as ever. I watched him from where I stood, letting my eyes drag up and down, without shame as he swung a leg over his bike, sitting down easily. His hands gripped the handle's head turned slow, eyes searching around until they landed on me. I raised one eyebrow, lips forming into tired smirk. His mouth tilted in response, smirk for smirk. Then he winked. Cocky idiot. I showed him middle finger and he laughed, pulling his helmet down, covering that pretty face as the countdown started. 3, 2, 1. The engine screamed as he kicked the bike and the race exploded down the street. The race went on for almost 20 minutes. Lap after lap tires, screeching against cracked concrete engines, growling like wolves in heat, and he was leading as always. Idiots, all of them. You'd think after years of losing, someone would step up and actually try. When the final lap ended and cheers exploded from the crowd, I didn't even bother _HOOTING. Instead. I turned on my heel and started walking toward my car, hands stuffed into my jacket pockets. The car was old as hell. Some beat-up thing my grandfather used to drive. The paint was chipped. The engine coughed more than a smoker, but it still worked, and that was enough. Heavy footsteps crunching on the rocky surface behind me. Where you running off to this early? He said, letting out a whistle. I didn't turn around. You gotta pay me extra if you want me sticking around to watch you flirt with everyone. He chuckled, coming up beside me now, smelling like gasoline, and that mint gum he always chewed. You know, I don't like that either. I snorted. Sure, you look like you were enjoying yourself plenty, back there. Oh? His grin stretched slow as he leaned in closer, that smug tilt in his voice. Someone's jealous. His hand was suddenly on my hip, fingers squeezing lightly. I slapped it away with a sharp swat, giving him a glare. Keep your hands to yourself unless you want them detached. He laughed deep in his throat. You're gonna hurt my feelings one of these days. Please, I muttered, popping the door open and sliding inside the driver's seat. If you had feelings, I'd know. He leaned his elbows on the open window, his curls all messy from the ride, that stupid grin still sitting on his face. So if it's not jealousy, what is it? I shoved the keys and the car coughed, lights flickering, deciding whether it wanted to work tonight. It's called secondhand embarrassment, I said. Watching you be all hotshot with those girls is like watching a stray cat flirt with a whole pack of dogs. That made him laugh again, this time leaning his head against the window frame. Really a stray cat. Truth stings. I shrugged. The car finally caught, engine rumbling to life with a shaky growl. I really need to do something about this. So, where are we going now? He asked, feet up on the dashboard. Burgers, I said. I'm starving. And I know you haven't eaten all day, double quotes, unhealthy. I like it. Shocking, I deadpanned. The illegal bike racer likes unhealthy. He reached over, flicked my ear lightly. Watch it, tattoo girl. I could ruin your whole night. I snapped my head toward him, giving him a sweet smile that was dot fake. You already do, every single time you open your mouth. Dot dot his grin only grew wider. Yeah, but you'd miss me if I didn't. He wasn't wrong. She had gotten used to his presence in her life so dot much that if they didn't meet for a day, she would miss him, even though she would never tell him that. Sitting on the bonnet of my car, legs stretched out in front, a half-eaten dot burger in my hand, Jungkook leaned against the side beside me, Dot moaning with every bite as if he never ate in his life before. But she can't blame him. Unhealthy food always hits different. I took another bite, talking through it. I swear, these taste better Dot than any food in those fancy Dot-ass restaurants. He smirked around a fry, as if you ever tried that. I nudged my shoulder into his. Shut up, I just know. Big restaurants Dot sell food that tastes like ass. Plus, have you seen the plates? Small as my palm. He chuckled, wiping sauce off his lip with his thumb. This part of Dot Streets is usually quiet, so it's like their spot. We had a small bottle Dot of soju cracked open between us two, the green glass clinking whenever one of us shifted. He lifted it, tipping it toward me. Why aren't you drinking? I chewed on a fry before answering. One of us has to be sober, double quotes, he clicked his tongue. Drink up. I'll be sober enough to drive us back, I snorted, glancing over at him. As if I'd let you drive this thing. I patted the bonnet under me. It's gonna break in your hands in, like, a minute. And I don't trust you with it. That's rude. He gasped but stopped himself before he chokes because of his mouthful. Yeah. I popped fries in my mouth. You'll live. We ate in peace for a while after that. Fries, cold air, quiet music spilling, faint from someone else's car speakers nearby. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out, eyes scanning the Dot notification with unlocking it. One glance at the name, and I sighed out loud without thinking and tossed it face down on the bonnet. Who's making you sigh like that? Just someone from back at the shop. I wiped my hands on a napkin. Guy came in for a tattoo almost 2 months ago. And ever since, he's been bugging me. Bugging? Or should I say, begging me to hook up with him? His mouth twitched a little, but he didn't interrupt. I mean, that wasn't his exact word, but you know what I mean? Dude's been dropping by the shop randomly, messaging me all the time. I told him I wasn't interested, but I don't know. Some people just don't get it. No means no. He didn't say anything, eyes half-lidded as he stared out at the dark Dot Street. Then he spoke after a while. If he's bugging you that much, should I handle it? I snorted a full dry laugh. Here comes my knight in shining armor. He leaned closer suddenly, finger flicking lightly under my chin. Of course, I am. Just say the word. I smirked, tipping my head back so his hand fell away. Yeah, right. You probably make it worse, double quotes, please. I'd be nice. That's exactly what scares me, I said, shaking my head. You and nice don't mix double quotes, eager and wider. Maybe not, but for you. I'd try. I rolled my eyes, mimicking his voice low and dramatic. But for you, I'd try. His hand came down suddenly, light slap against my thigh. Hey, I laughed, swatting at him. Hands off. You deserve that, he said, smile still sitting lazy on his face. But I didn't miss the way his eyes dropped to where his hand had landed just a second ago, then back up to my face. Serious for a flicker of a second. And that was the thing about Jungkook. 1 minute he was joking, the next you won't even figure it out what is going in his head. Sometimes I'd forget how long we'd actually known each other. Almost 5 years now, give or take. It all started with a tattoo. I still remember the first time he walked into the shop. Messy dark hair, plain black hoodie, one earring in. That cocky grin already there, even back then. Like he didn't have a single worry in the world, 19 years old, coming in for his first ink. "I want this," he said, holding up his phone with a picture. It was simple 19, simple maybe representing his age. "First one?" I asked, glancing up uninterested from behind the counter. He nodded, tongue poking against his cheek like he was thinking hard about something. "You sure about that? A lot of guys get something dumb first time and regret it." And he smirked, leaning in closer across the counter like he already knew me. "Unsure. Mark me up." I ended up being the one who did it. He didn't even flinch once. And after that, he came back. Again and again. Now half his body was marked up his whole arm, part of his chest, his side. All of it done by me. Sometimes when we were out, people would stop him just to ask who did his work. And he'd always tilt his head toward me, mouth tugging up like he was proud or something. "She did." 2 words, but they always hit different. I'd never admit it out loud, but it made me feel, kind of proud of myself too. My art on someone like him. Back when he first started showing up at the shop, I honestly thought he was just another creep. We got plenty of them. Guys who'd walk in pretending to look for a tattoo, really just there to ask for my number. Or worse. The kind who thought just because I was inking skin, I'd ink something else. I got that good at shutting them down fast. So when Jungkook started showing up more often, hanging around, I figured he was just like the rest of them. Flashy smile, good face, the usual lines. I almost told him off straight away, but he never pushed anything. Never made it weird. He'd just come in, ask for another tattoo, or sit around and talk while I worked on other clients. One day I finally asked him what he do, double quotes, biker, underground. I race, just killing time. He said I didn't believe him until he invited me to one of his races. Showed up, there, saw him in that leather jacket, bike engine roaring so loud, I felt it in my teeth. The rest was history after that. Best friends now, 4 or 5 years running. I didn't even really remember when exactly it switched from casual to permanent. He'd been a good person in my life, as annoying as he was, as reckless as he could get. He always had my back, and I had his. But when I pulled into my street, stomach already aching from the junk food, my mood dropped fast. There he was, my old man, standing right in front of our apartment door. And he was not alone, which is not surprising. There was a woman with him, younger, his new girlfriend. Lipstick too bright, dressed too tight for this late at night. I sat there behind the wheel, headlights off, engine still running, just watching. My head thudded once against the steering wheel as I groaned low under my breath. God damn it. This man really can't keep it in his pants. Without thinking much else, I flicked the indicator and took a U-turn, tires crunching slow over gravel. 10 minutes later, I was back in front of Jungkook building, slamming the car door shut harder than I meant to as I walked up the steps and rang the bell sharply. Just after a few seconds, she heard low curses and a "who the hell" sat on my bell. Because of the assault I was doing to his bell, the door opened, and he was there, shirtless, just loose sweatpants hanging low on his hips. Hair all messy like he just rolled off the couch. Well, my voice was dry as desert. What a sight to welcome guests. I lifted my hand and slapped my palm lightly against his bare chest as I stepped inside. Whoa. Whoa, miss, were you coming in like that? His voice followed me as I kicked my shoes off by the door, ignoring him. Dad brought his girlfriend over again, I muttered, heading straight for his living room. Dropping onto his old sofa like I own the place. Can't stay there. Can't stand that woman's face. He let the door click shut behind me. I could hear him moving around, grabbing something from the counter, probably finishing whatever drink he'd been on before I showed up. When I glanced over my shoulder, he had a half-full bottle of soju in his hand, eyes a little flushed, like he wasn't exactly sober, but not fully gone either. "You had this earlier," I said, eyebrows lifting as I gestured toward him. "Trying to knock yourself off or what?" He shrugged, lifting the bottle to his lips again. "Feel like it tonight. You want some?" I let out a breath through my nose, leaning back into the cushions. Double quotes, yeah, why not? He brought it over, set it on the table in front of me while I grabbed the remote and flicked through channels until some random movie started playing. One of those older action movies, loud music, big cars, whatever, sinking deeper into the couch. I rested my head back. I hate that man. Seriously, double quotes. Jungkook sat on the arm of the couch beside me, bottle hanging loosely from his fingers. "Your dad needs to find a real job." The alcohol was scratching at his throat now. I gave a tired little laugh. "Of course he won't. Always trying to take my money. Goodness, how much I hate him sometimes. Only if he knew." He didn't say anything right away. Just watched me with that quiet face of his. I picked up the bottle again, tipping it lightly. I mean, what am I even expecting from a man who brought his girlfriend home a week after my mom died? That one came out heavier than I meant it to. Everything went quiet except for the TV playing low in the background. He just sighed, running his hand through his hair, drinking again. Minutes passed like that, until some kiss scene popped up on the TV. I closed my eyes, groaning softly as I leaned back harder into the sofa. My body felt heavy and tired, and all I could think was how much I wished I had my own bed right now. Now I had to crash on someone's couch, and my back was going to be sore the whole next day. "How long's it been?" he asked suddenly. "Since you kissed someone?" One of my eyes cracked open, eyebrow arching. "What kind of random question is that? Come on," he said, lips quirking up. He already knew it caught me off guard. "I want to know." I let out a breath, thinking about it, eyes drifting back toward the TV without really seeing it. "I don't remember, maybe a few months ago." I shrugged. "There was this dude, right? He was mid the deed trying to kiss me, but his mouth, God, smelled like he ate trash for dinner or something. Never told someone to keep their mouth away from me that fast." His laugh rumbled through the room, head tilting back slightly. "Goodness, you really have bad luck in life." "Nothing new. That's just my fate." He went awfully quiet after that. I didn't even pay attention until he spoke again. "You need someone who can kiss you, right? The way you want double quotes. I wasn't sure where he was going with that exactly. My fingers drummed lightly against the armrest. Maybe one day." "You want to try right now?" he asked suddenly, voice little rough, like the alcohol was settling deeper in his system. "Test it out or something?" My eyes opened fully this time, turning toward him, catching his face in the dim light. "Is the alcohol finally speaking your mind?" I asked, keeping my tone flat, even though my stomach tightened for no good reason. "No, come on, I'm serious." I pushed up from the couch, standing because that was safer. I wasn't about to play drunk games with him. "I think, Jungkook, you should go sleep." I couldn't even get the chance to step away. His hand caught mine, fingers curling around my wrist and noticing how warm he was. "Come on, I'm a good kisser, I swear. My mouth doesn't smell like trash, I can assure you that." I laughed under my breath, smiling despite myself swatting lightly at his arm. "You're ridiculous." But his grip tightened. It was not rough, just enough to keep me from walking away. And when I finally met his eyes, The knots in dot my stomach tightened more because, yeah, Jungkook was handsome. Any blind man could tell. He had the face, the build, the everything people usually wrote dot songs about. And maybe I'd spent years brushing off his flirty dot side, ignoring the comments, the jokes. But that didn't mean I wasn't affected by it, especially now. Especially when he was openly offering to give me something better than those bad memories. His thumb brushed lightly against my skin. His voice dropped another dot note lower. So what do you say? And for once, I didn't have a smart answer ready. I stared down at where his hand held mine, my throat dry, mind scrambling for dot something to say that wasn't going to make this more complicated, but nothing really fit. Everything felt too loud in my head. We're going to regret it. His eyes didn't leave mine. Come on, a few kisses won't ruin our dot friendship. When I didn't said anything, he shifted forward, pushing off the armrest dot slowly, his body unfolding like some lazy jungle cat, stretching after a dot nap. He rose to his full height in front of me, and I automatically took a dot step back my knees, bumping into the edge of the sofa behind me. I looked up, and all I could see was him, the lazy drop of his lashes, that knowing, half-cocked tilt at the corner of his mouth, the slow burn in his eyes that didn't quite match the casual tone he used seconds ago. My eyes dropped to his mouth, and God, I hated how easily he caught me doing it. His smirk deepened just the tiniest bit, and I swear it lit my entire face on fire. All right. Just those words left my lips, and she felt the heat of his mouth, pressing against mine in a kiss that wasn't soft or uncertain. He was rough and fast. And holy hell, he wasn't lying. He was a good kisser. No, scratch that dot, he was an amazing kisser. His lips moved over mine with this lazy confidence, just enough dot pressure to send sparks straight through my chest. One of his hands slid around the back of my neck, pulling me in while the other remained dot tangled with my wrist. Like he didn't want to let go of any part of me. I gasped against his mouth, caught off guard by how natural it felt, how badly I wanted more of it. My hands moved on instinct _ing in his hair, pulling him closer as he backed me up fully against the sofa now. I didn't even notice we were moving until I felt the cushions behind my dot legs and his chest pressing lightly against mine. When he finally pulled back, it wasn't far, just enough to breathe. Just enough to whisper against my lips, told you. And I couldn't even argue